Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Hi guys, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into a whirlwind of shocking confessions, crime scene mysteries, and high-stakes emotional conflicts. The lines between justice and deception are blurring, and the truth is more elusive than ever. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's unravel this tangled web of secrets together. A family's hidden truth comes crashing down at the prestigious Quartermaine estate. A family bombshell is about to explode. The chandelier casts a golden glow over the opulent room, but the warmth in the air is deceiving. Lois' face is frozen in shock, her mouth slightly open, her hands clenched into tight fists as she processes Brooke Lynn's words. "I told Chase everything," Brooke Lynn confesses, her voice barely above a whisper, yet carrying the weight of years of secrecy. Lois' heart pounds. For years, she had done everything to ensure that the truth about Brooke Lynn's teenage pregnancy never saw the light of day. The Quartermaines thrived on power and discretion, secrets were their currency. But now, Brooke Lynn had thrown open the vault, and Chase, a man of integrity and relentless determination, had the key. "He wants to find her," Brooke Lynn continues, her voice laced with guilt and uncertainty. Her daughter, out there, somewhere, unaware of her true parentage. Chase, ever the detective at heart, had vowed to uncover the truth. But was this the right choice? Could they truly risk reopening a chapter of the past that had been buried so deeply? What if her child had moved on, built a life of her own, blissfully ignorant of the storm that was about to descend upon her? And then, there was the even bigger secret, the one Lois had sworn to protect at all costs, the truth about Gio Palmieri. He wasn't just a distant relative, an afterthought in the Quartermaine dynasty. He was Brooke Lynn and Dante's son. If this revelation ever reached the wrong ears, the consequences would be devastating. But with Chase digging, how much longer could they keep the truth buried? The grief of a mother and a question that haunts the night elsewhere in town. Alexis Davis sits in stunned silence, staring at Dante Falconeri, her breathing uneven. The weight of his words crashes down on her like a tidal wave. "Sam was killed because of Cyrus' mission," Dante says, his tone measured but heavy with sorrow. Alexis shakes her head, unable to process it. Her daughter, her fierce, independent, never-back-down daughter, murdered at the hands of a man who believed he was some kind of divine executioner. The walls of her office feel like they're closing in on her, the very air suffocating. "We need to know why," she whispers, her voice hollow. The question echoes in her mind, reverberating like a haunting melody. Why? Why had Cyrus targeted Sam? What part had she played in his twisted ideology? And why had he chosen her as the sacrifice to his so-called mission? Dante sighs, running a hand through his hair. "We don't have all the answers yet, but we're getting closer." Getting closer. Alexis isn't sure if that's comforting or terrifying. She grips the edge of her desk, forcing herself to stay grounded. Sam was gone. But if they didn't find out the full truth, who was to say Cyrus wouldn't claim another victim in his righteous crusade? A crisis of faith and a dangerous path. Meanwhile, outside Bobby's cafe, Christina Corinthos Davis paces restlessly, her fists clenching and unclenching as she rants to her sister, Molly Lansing Davis. "I'm done believing in the system, Molly. It's a joke," she spits, her anger palpable. Molly watches her warily. She's seen Christina in these states before, impulsive, emotional, ready to act before thinking. "It's not that simple, Christina," Molly says, trying to calm her. "The system isn't perfect, but taking things into your own hands, that's dangerous." Christina scoffs. "Dangerous? You know what's dangerous? Letting people like Ava and Sunny make deals in backrooms while people like me get stepped on. I was ready to fight for custody of Avery, and guess what? That fight never even made it to court. Her voice cracks with frustration, and Molly can see it, the brewing storm in Christina's eyes. You don't have to do anything drastic, Molly pleads. But she knows that look. Christina is already past the point of listening. The shadow of a dangerous man in another part of town, Laura Spencer sits across from Martin Gray, her hands wrapped tightly around a cup of coffee that's long since gone cold. He's not gone, she murmurs, fear lacing her voice. Martin shifts uncomfortably. We don't know that for sure. But Laura knows. In her bones, she knows. Cyrus Renaud is out there, and as long as he is, she and Martin are not safe. Elizabeth Baldwin's testimony was damning. Cyrus had admitted to far more than they had ever realized. Not only had he nearly killed Lucky Spencer, but he had ruined Lulu's liver in his twisted belief that he was a mercy killer. He had claimed he was an angel of death, a man sent by God to release people from suffering. Laura shudders. He won't stop. Not until he's dead. A young man's battle between hope and despair elsewhere, Kai Taylor picks at his lunch, barely listening to his friend across the table. His mind is elsewhere, on the crushing weight of uncertainty. Football had been everything to him. His dream, his passion, his identity. But now, it might be over. The only thing keeping him from spiraling completely? Trina Robinson. She's the only reason I haven't lost it, he admits to his friend. Trina had even convinced Curtis Ashford to talk to him, sharing his own story of overcoming the odds. If Curtis could come back from a nearly paralyzing injury, maybe, just maybe, Kai could too. But hope was a dangerous thing. It could lift you up, only to let you fall even harder. Secrets and guilt weigh heavy on the heart back at Bobby's. Trina watches Jocelyn Jacks closely as she aggressively scrubs dishes behind the counter. Something is off. What's going on with you? Trina finally asks, her voice laced with concern. Jocelyn freezes for a fraction of a second before plastering on a fake smile. Nothing. Just tired. Trina doesn't buy it. Joss, she presses. I know you. Talk to me. Jocelyn hesitates. If she tells Trina the truth, that she shot Cyrus Renaud in self-defense, that Jack Brennan had covered it up, everything changes. But the guilt is crushing her. The hunt for the truth begins meanwhile, at the PCPD, Anna Devane is furious. No evidence. No forensics. The crime scene at Cyrus' cabin was pristine. Too pristine. She slams the phone down, her mind racing. There was only one person who could have erased every trace of what had happened there. Jason Morgan. Was it time to bring him in for questioning? And more importantly, should they start searching the Pine Barrens for Cyrus' body? And there you have it, guys. A tangled mess of secrets, lies, and power struggles. Who will crack first? Who will rise from the ashes? Next. We're diving deep into a whirlwind of shocking confessions, crime scene mysteries, and high-stakes emotional conflicts. The lines between justice and deception are blurring, and the truth is more elusive than ever. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's unravel this tangled web of secrets together. The hunt for the truth begins at the PCPD, tension crackles like a live wire. Anna Devane paces her office, her mind racing through every dead-end lead and missing puzzle piece. She is no stranger to cover-ups, to orchestrated disappearances, but something about this case gnaws at her like an itch she can't scratch. She had expected forensic evidence, traces of blood, footprints, a careless fingerprint left behind, but what they found at the cabin was the exact opposite. Nothing. No DNA, no shell casings, no signs that a crime had even occurred. It was as if the place had been sterilized, wiped so clean that it might as well have been untouched for years. This wasn't amateur work. No ordinary cleanup crew could pull this off. There was only one person she knew who could erase every shred of forensic evidence, ensuring that nothing, not even a microscopic clue, could be found. Jason Morgan. Anna clenches her jaw, her fingers tightening around the phone. Should they bring him in for questioning? Should they be scouring the Pine Barrens for a freshly dug grave? She knows Jason has a code, a line he doesn't cross, unless absolutely necessary. The question is, had this been one of those times? Secrets and guilt weigh heavy on the heart at Bobby's Cafe. The rhythmic clatter of dishes and the distant hum of conversation do nothing to ease the tension simmering beneath Jocelyn Jack's skin. She scrubs at a plate with unnecessary force, her mind replaying the events of that night over and over again like a song stuck on a loop. Trina Robinson watches from the other side of the counter, her keen eyes narrowing. She knows Joss better than anyone. She knows when her best friend is troubled, when something is eating away at her, and right now, Jocelyn looks like she's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. Something's wrong, Trina states, her voice laced with concern. I can see it. Jocelyn's smile is tight, forced. I'm just tired. Trina leans in, crossing her arms. Joss. Don't lie to me. Jocelyn hesitates. If she tells Trina the truth, that she shot Cyrus Renault in self-defense, that Jack Brennan had made the evidence disappear, everything changes. And once a secret like that is spoken aloud, there's no taking it back. But the guilt is relentless, clawing at her insides. She had acted to save her own life, yet now, she's haunted by the possibility that someone else could take the fall for what she did. A young man's battle between hope and despair across town. Kai Taylor stirs his lunch absent-mindedly, barely hearing the words of his friend sitting across from him. His mind is miles away, consumed by the growing uncertainty about his future. Football had been his dream, his identity, his entire life. But now, it might all be over. The injury had changed everything. It had stolen the certainty of his future, leaving behind nothing but doubt and fear. He had spent months going through rehab, pushing his body to its limits, but deep down, he knew the chances of a full recovery were slim. The only thing keeping him from slipping into complete despair? Trina. She's the only reason I haven't lost it, he admits, his voice quiet. Trina had seen his struggle, had believed in him when he could barely believe in himself. She had even convinced Curtis Ashford to speak to him, to share his own story of overcoming a nearly career-ending injury. If Curtis could find a way forward after being shot, maybe, just maybe, Kai could too. But hope is a dangerous thing. It lifts you up, only to let you fall even harder. The shadow of a dangerous man in a dimly lit cafe, Laura Spencer sits across from Martin Gray, her hands wrapped tightly around a coffee mug, though she hasn't taken a sip in ages. Her expression is grim, her voice barely above a whisper. He's not gone, she murmurs, her fingers trembling against the ceramic. Martin exhales sharply, shifting uncomfortably in his seat. We don't know that for sure. But Laura knows. She feels it in her bones. Cyrus Renault is still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Elizabeth Baldwin's testimony had been chilling. Cyrus had confessed to more than they had ever imagined. He had nearly killed Lucky Spencer, destroyed Lulu's liver in his delusional crusade, and he had done it all under the guise of divine will. He believed himself to be an angel of mercy, a deliverer of justice. Laura shudders. He won't stop. Not until he's dead. A crisis of faith and a dangerous path outside Bobby's Cafe. Christina Corinthos Davis paces furiously, her emotions raw, her frustration boiling over. Molly Lansing Davis watches with growing concern, knowing that when Christina reaches this point, reason is often the first casualty. "I'm done believing in the system," Christina snaps, her voice tight with emotion. "It's rigged. It's a joke." Molly exhales, trying to tread carefully. "Christina, the system isn't perfect, but you can't just..." Christina cuts her off, shaking her head. "Don't tell me to trust the process. I did that. I played by the rules. And where did it get me? Nowhere." Her fists clench. The anger inside her is real, raw, and threatening to consume her. She had been prepared to fight for custody of Avery, but that fight had been stolen from her before she even had a chance to step into the courtroom. Deals had been made in the shadows, agreements had been forged behind closed doors, and now she was left empty-handed. Molly swallows hard. She's seen Christina like this before, and it always leads to one thing: reckless decisions. "Just promise me you won't do anything stupid," Molly pleads. But Christina doesn't respond. She's already too far gone. The grief of a mother and a question that haunts the night. In a quiet office, Alexis Davis sits frozen, staring at Dante Falconeri with hollow eyes. The words he had just spoken still hang in the air, heavy and suffocating. "Sam was killed because of Cyrus' mission," Dante says, his voice thick with sorrow. Alexis grips the edge of her desk, trying to steady herself. Her daughter. Her fierce, headstrong, beautiful daughter, murdered at the hands of a delusional madman. "We need to know why," she whispers. The question lingers, haunting and unanswered. Why Sam? Why had Cyrus chosen her? What part had she unknowingly played in his twisted ideology? Dante sighs, running a hand through his hair. "We don't have all the answers yet, but we're getting closer." Getting closer. The words offer little comfort. Alexis is drowning in grief, in anger, in the suffocating weight of loss. Sam was gone. But if they didn't find out the full truth, who would be next? A family's hidden truth comes crashing down. Back at the Quartermain estate, Lois is reeling, her body stiff with shock. "I told Chase everything," Brooke Lynn admits, her voice barely above a whisper. Lois' heart pounds. The secret they had buried for so long, the truth about Brooke Lynn's teenage pregnancy, had just been unleashed. Chase, ever the detective, was determined to find her daughter. But was that the right choice? Could they truly risk upending a life that had been carefully built in ignorance? And then, there was the other secret. The bigger one. The one Lois had sworn to protect at all costs. Gio Palmieri wasn't just some distant relative. He was Brooke Lynn and Dante's son. And if Chase uncovered that truth, the entire Quartermain dynasty could come crumbling down. Next, we are diving into the shocking conclusion of one of General Hospital's most memorable villains, Cyrus Renault. From his chaotic reign in Port Charles to his unexpected demise, we're exploring every twist, every betrayal, and every chilling moment. Was it truly the end for Cyrus, or is there still a chance for his return? Let's break it all down. Goodbye, forever or for now. Soap operas are no strangers to jaw-dropping twists, and General Hospital is infamous for bringing characters back from the dead. So, is Cyrus Renault's death truly the end of the road, or will he make a shocking return when we least expect it? Jeff Kober, the actor who masterfully portrayed Cyrus, recently reflected on his final moments in Port Charles. In a candid interview, he expressed his appreciation for the creative freedom he was given as a performer, allowing him to fully embody the complexities of his character. "It's so dangerous for an actor to let go and let the scene happen, and I relish that," he admitted, emphasizing how much he enjoyed the unpredictability of his role. Fans of the soap know that villains have a way of cheating death, and Cyrus was nothing if not resourceful. Could he have faked his demise? Is there a hidden storyline that could bring him back? While nothing is confirmed, longtime GH viewers understand one fundamental truth: in the soap world, anything is possible. For now, though, we bid farewell to one of the most enigmatic characters to ever wreak havoc in Port Charles. I'll miss it, Jeff Coburn saying goodbye to Cyrus. Leaving a long-running role is never easy, and for Jeff Coburn, stepping away from General Hospital was bittersweet. In an exclusive interview with Soap Opera Digest, he opened up about the emotional process of saying goodbye to his character. "You know what? I'm just now starting to process it because I shot 5 episodes on January 15th, and on January 16th, I flew to India for nearly a month and had all the experiences that one has when one goes to India for nearly a month," Coburn shared. His time away helped him gain perspective, but it didn't erase the fond memories he had from the show. "I miss going to work, I miss the people, I miss the process. I gotta tell you, I love acting on a soap. It's so dangerous for an actor to let go and let the scene happen, and General Hospital gave me an opportunity to practice that letting go, day after day after day, and I relished that. And I will miss that." Despite his departure, Coburn had nothing but praise for his final episodes. "We had fun, and I have to say, I haven't seen it, but from being in it, I've died many times in many different storylines, and I think this is perhaps one of my best deaths." For an actor who has played countless villains across film and television, that is quite the statement. Fans who witnessed Cyrus' last moments would likely agree, his exit was chilling, intense, and perfectly fitting for the character's dark legacy. The complex reign of Cyrus Renaud. Since his arrival in 2020, Cyrus Renaud became one of General Hospital's most unpredictable characters. Ruthless, cunning, and deeply manipulative, he had the entire town of Port Charles in the palm of his hand. But what made him stand out among soap opera villains was his unexpected transformation, from drug kingpin to self-proclaimed man of faith. At first, his sudden piety seemed like yet another strategy, a way to manipulate those around him. But as time went on, viewers were left wondering, was he genuinely seeking redemption? Or was this just another mask he wore to further his own twisted agenda? His relationships with his siblings, Martin and Laura, added even more complexity to his character. Unlike the typical one-dimensional villain, Cyrus craved acceptance, particularly from Laura. There were moments where he almost seemed vulnerable, desperate to be seen as more than just a criminal. But no matter how much he tried, his darker impulses always won. His rivalry with Sonny Corinthos was another defining aspect of his storyline. Challenging the most powerful mob boss in Port Charles was a dangerous game, and while Cyrus played it well, his arrogance ultimately led to his downfall. And then came the final revelation, the moment that sealed his fate. The truth about Sam's murder sent shockwaves through the town, making it clear that Cyrus' time was running out. After years of deception, betrayals, and power plays, his reign came to a brutal and inevitable end. A death worthy of a soap opera legend. In true soap opera fashion, Cyrus Renaud's final moments were nothing short of dramatic. It wasn't just a simple exit. It was a culmination of everything that made him such a formidable force in Port Charles. Throughout his tenure, Cyrus had always been a step ahead, always calculating his next move. But in the end, all the schemes, all the power plays, all the manipulation couldn't save him.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.